And we are live with another edition of the All Gas No Breaks Sports Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Nicholas Pavona, joined alongside, as always, by my co-host Andrew Johnson. And Johnson, with a little bit of some international flair this upcoming week here at the All Gas No Breaks Sports Show. Of course, we just had the Olympics take place this past weekend and concluded on Sunday. Shout out the U.S. men's hockey team and women's team for getting the job done and winning gold in hockey. But we'll keep it, in the spirit of international competition with the upcoming World Baseball Classic. That'll be taking place on March 5th, I believe, is the first day of games. I'll double check to see when that is the case. It's March
That is
6th.
correct.
Oh, March 5th. No, I was right. It is March
March
5th.
5th.
My dates are all messed up. I don't even know what today's date is at this point. But nonetheless, March 5th is the start of the World Baseball Classic. The championship game itself will take place about a week or two after that takes place in Miami, Florida on March 17th. So for what you and I, Johnson, will do is this will be the second time you and I have covered this World Baseball Classic event. I think 3 years ago was the last one. That was won by Team Japan. So we'll break down some of the rosters going into this World Baseball Classic, give you our picks for the pools and favorites in those pools, and the favorite to win the whole thing entirely. Probably will be a biased pick from you and I when we make this pick, but the USA will have some very tough competition if they want to get the job done this time around.
Dare I say, the greatest U.S. baseball roster assembled in modern history.
It, it's
It's up
funny
there.
because the last roster was good on paper, but the one thing they didn't have that season was the pitching. And this
Yep.
Team USA roster has the pitching. The problem is, Johnson, is how much pitching will they get? Because there's already, some talk about certain players not, participating in a lot of games, maybe just playing in round robin play, and that's about it. So that might be a story for a different day. But on paper, it looks really good for this USA team.
Yeah, no, they look great, and there's so much great competition when it comes to baseball. It's not like, let's say, if they had the World Football Classic, and I'm not talking about the World Cup. I'm talking about American football. It'd be drastically different. This is a
Yeah.
sport that was invented here in the States and has a lot of international flair. Now, again, I know a lot of it is in Central and South America and in the Caribbean, but hey, you're going to have a great team coming out of Asia too, in Japan and even Chinese Taipei. So it's going to be great.
So I guess we could talk about Team USA's team first, and we'll talk with Pool B, which is where the U.S. is currently going to be regioned in. Now their games will be played in Houston, Texas. You have the United States, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil in this pool. USA is going to be the favorite to win this pool. And you look at their roster. I mean, it's a really really star studded team. You just first go to their lineup. You have MVPs, former MVPs on this roster: Aaron Judge, Pete Crow Armstrong, Byron Buxton, Roman Anthony in the outfield, Kyle Schwarber, the designated hitter for this team. Your infielders, you have Alex Bregman, Paul Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper, Gunnar Henderson, Ernie Clement, Bryce Turang, and Bobby Witt. Your catchers, you have Cal Raleigh coming off a 60 home run year, and Will Smith, who, of course, helped the Dodgers win a World Series this past season. And then their pitching, you have studs like Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal at the top of that rotation with a very good bullpen and guys like David Bednar, Mason Miller, Griffin Jacks, just to name a few. And you'll even get to see Clayton Kershaw, what will be his final pitching performance of his MLB career. He helped the Dodgers, well, in a way, he helped the Dodgers win a World Series this past season, but this officially will be the last event he will be pitching in to end his MLB career. So he'll have an opportunity to help USA win the World Baseball Classic at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely star-studded roster, like you said here. Um, I couldn't even tell you who the weakest player on this roster is. Now, obviously, there's going to be a couple names that stick out, right? But when you take a look at the starting starting nine, and then you take a look at all the starting pitching we're going to have, Skeens, Scooble, Joe Ryan's going to be probably coming out of the bullpen here, which is not maybe not. Maybe he's going to be the
I
third or
would
fourth
think,
starter.
yeah, I would think he probably does just because. And I think what's going to be interesting about it is because the rumor is, and I talked about this before with the pitching. Tarek Schoolball looks like is going to just pitch one game, and that's going to be their round robin game against Great Britain. And the reason is because he's in a contract season. So he probably was told by his agent, Scott Boris, listen, don't go too hard. We've already seen a guy like, per se, Edwin Diaz. Remember a couple of years ago, he got injured in the World Baseball Classic, missed the entirety of the season for the New York Mets at the time. So they don't want Schoolboy to get injured and potentially miss out on a big payday. So he'll only pitch one game and that's it. And then you have Skeens. Logan Webb is a really good, solid starter as well. So Joe Ryan's a guy that could pitch maybe in terms of the quarterfinals if you want to give him a start, or if you, like you mentioned, maybe he's just a long reliever for this team. That's the beauty, I think, of this rotation for this USA team.
Yeah, and we have to talk about. You mentioned Paul Goldschmidt before. He's gonna be coming off that bench. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be an absolutely great platoon guy here, especially against. I don't want to say lower competition, but let's say let's say they're playing Great Britain, for example, and they need a hit. If Goldie is a career like 300 hitter against the top competition in the world, then God help whoever's pitching for Great Britain that game.
Right. Yeah, I'd be very curious to see what Great Britain does in that game. I'm taking a look now at some of the other rosters in this pool, which could be Pool B, as I
I mean, for
mentioned, and
me, Jazz is probably the greatest. Is probably the best player on Great Britain.
by far, yeah, I think the problem for Great Britain
He's
is there's not much outside of Jazz that is noteworthy for this team. Like
And if
he's gonna have
Jazz,
to be
I'm
more.
not sure if Jazz does have American citizenship because he is from the Bahamas.
Mhm,
Uh, if he did have American citizenship, he would definitely be on this team.
right.
Like there's absolutely no way in hell that he would not be on this team. He's probably the best American second. He would be the best American second baseman.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing too for the USA, because I'm looking at who would be that second baseman per se that you mentioned for them going into this baseball classic. It's probably going to be Bryce Terang if I had to guess.
Yeah,
For the Milwaukee
which
Brewers.
is great player, but like
Yeah,
he's not
he's
Jazz.
not. Yeah, he's not Jazz. Ernie Clement also is a nice, solid backup. He had an incredible, historic postseason run we just saw for the Blue Jays this past October. But you're right; they're not, to Jazz's, level. And Jazz also, keep in mind, is coming up on a contract year, so could be an early stepping stone for him to maybe get a big contract at the end of the year too.
You know who I'm interested to see in this Great Britain roster? Harry Ford.
Yeah, former top prospect.
Former top prospect. I know it hasn't really gone his way, and he's had some up and down years. In AAA, he was really good. Then they brought him up to Seattle for a couple of games. He wasn't really that great. Only used him situationally, but this could be his first. This could be his coming out party here. If he really puts his nose to the grindstone here, has a solid has a solid group play, he could be getting that getting more starting opportunities maybe because I know Kyle Riley's there over in Seattle, but
Right.
he's not an everyday catcher, so
Did
it's
he
really up for grabs for him.
now? I'm not. Am I mistaking him? I could be wrong. I think I'm thinking of Henry Davis, the other catcher, other the Mariners had at one point. That's now on the
Yes, I
Pirates.
think he's on the Pirates. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Harry Ford is on the Nationals, I believe now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he
got
got
traded to the
traded.
Nationals. That's right, mid-season. You're right.
Yes, he is a National now.
That's even better. There's no
Yeah.
competition for him anymore.
Right. Yeah, because like you said, there was really nowhere for him to go in that with Kyle Riley, who just came off a 60 home run season. There's really nowhere you can go. So we'll see. I think really when looking at this pool, and I don't mean to sound biased because of how the USA roster looks. I think it really comes down to me, Johnson, who is going to be the biggest step in terms of potentially upsetting the USA in this pool. You look at Great Britain. I don't think there is really a chance for them unless they pull out some miracle. I feel the same way for Brazil. It's just really on paper. It's not to their the team's fault. It's just not a lot of players that you've heard of on these rosters. So I think when I look at it, it really comes down to Italy and Mexico that maybe give the USA a potential scare
Yeah,
in the round robin play.
Mexico probably has the most MLB players, and they're gonna have some good players too, like Randy Rosarena, who's obviously Cuban, but he's not gonna play for Cuba since
Yeah, Mexico does have a pretty solid roster on paper.
and a lot of the Cuban MLB, but I don't think any Cuban MLB players would be playing for Cuba, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
Yeah, you go on.
you have a couple. You gotta have a couple, right? And I'm trying to think
Yeah.
off the top of my head who's on there. I know the Marlins guy.
You
What
talking
is
about
what's
Cuba? You said?
Yiddy Capay? Yeah, Yiddy Capay is gonna be there. And they have a couple of good prospects too, but not a lot of top MLB talent for Cuba. So I'd have to say
Yeah,
it's Italy or
I'm looking at
Mexico.
it now. It's not that great on paper.
Is what he calls is Alexander Vargas playing for Cuba?
Yes. To
Again,
put it in
another guy who
perspective,
was a top prospect and really hasn't gone his way yet, but maybe this could be a turning point for him.
a 45-year-old Alexi Ramirez, the former White Sox standout shortstop, who hasn't been in the MLB in years, is going to be the starting shortstop for Cuba.
Yeah,
So that should tell you
it's
a lot.
yeah, you're gonna have a lot of players like a Rosarena, which he can play for Cuba, but he's not going to.
Yeah,
He's playing for Mexico and Italy. Listen, they're not
I
that much
really
better.
do
They
like this
have
Italy team.
really, I mean,
I actually kind of like it.
they
It's
have a
got
couple guys
sneaky
on here, right?
it's got sneaky upside. They're not the second best team in my opinion, but there's upside to them, which is why I kind of like them
They
in a
got
way.
some great guys, and it shows you how many talents are still in baseball. It's not like it was a 40s, like a
Yeah,
20s, 30s, and 40s thing. You have
Jack
Jack.
Caglione,
Yeah,
uh,
thank you. You have John
uh,
Birdie there. You have Vinny
Jacob
Pascantino.
Marcy
So
had a
you,
pretty good rookie year with the Marlins last season.
Aaron Nola. So you're gonna have a bunch of these guys. Well, my, you kind of look like, oh, they're American obviously by nationality, but then they're Italian by
I also
heritage.
love their coaching staff. It's like one of the best coaching staffs I've seen in this entire World Baseball Classic. Especially, I mean, for me especially, there's a lot of former Yankees on this roster in terms of coaching. But yeah, they have some pitching that maybe could sneak them a win or two. Aaron Nola is probably going to be the ace of this roster in terms of rotation, and Pasquantino is probably the best hitter they have on paper. Um, so, like I said, I don't think they're the second best team in this pool, but they could maybe pull off wins to get them into the quarterfinals to play potentially USA in that aspect. So I don't hate the upside of them, but you mentioned Mexico's got a strong team. Their rotation and bullpen isn't the best on paper. The way that they're going to get into the quarterfinals is their hitting. They have really strong hitters, like you mentioned with Rosarina, Jaron Duran as well. Nacho Alvarez had a had a really good start to his MLB career. We'll see if he picks that up. You have other players like Rowdy Tellez, who was a former big time bat, Alejandro Kirk as well from the Toronto Blue
Yeah,
Jays.
great
So
year. One of the premier catchers now in baseball.
yeah, so there's upside to Mexico and Italy. It really comes down to which of those two is probably going to be contending with the U.S.
I'm gonna
in
say
this, and I think it's Mexico, but it's
I'm gonna
close.
say the dark horse Italy here because you have some
Okay,
mismatches there. Like if
yeah,
Aaron Nola turns back the clock and they're pitching against Team USA, you
hmm
can't tell me that Aaron Nola doesn't have it in him to maybe hold Team USA to 2 or 3 runs. And if it's a
right.
listen, if Team USA has 3 runs for like 8 innings, it's anyone's game.
Right, and I do want to specify. I messed it up earlier. I want to specify now. The winner of Pool B is going to play the runner up in Pool A, and the runner up in Pool B plays the winner of Pool A.
Yes, that
So
is correct.
USA more than likely, if they get the job done, will be playing the runner up in Pool A, and then it comes down to if that Mexico or Italy, which one of those two teams are more likely is going to play the winner of Pool A, and maybe that's where we go to next, Johnson. Pool A, which has had an interesting offseason because obviously I think the biggest team that's had the biggest news for the offseason for this roster is Puerto Rico. And for not the good reasons, obviously, because they've missed out on a
Lots
lot
of
of pretty good
misses. Yeah,
players.
lots of players not playing.
I believe due to tax issues, right? Was that the issue for them?
It's tax issues, it's financial problems,
Hmm.
it's a lot of problems. I mean, some teams are just letting them play. Like, you know, there's a glaring hole in the infield here. There's no Javi Baez, even
No
though
Lindor.
yeah, the Mets aren't letting Lindor play, so there's a
Oh,
glaring
he's
hole in
also
the
hurt.
infield
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting to figure out who then is the team in this region because let's not be first. I think we can already just take out Cuba. We talked about them before. They just don't have the team on paper that could get the job done. In my opinion, no offense to them. I'm looking at Panama. I mean, there's some fun players on this roster that are former big leaguers. Shout out Ruben Tejada for obviously he hasn't really been seen the MLB since that Chase Utley incident, and now he gets to play on this roster for Panama. But it's not really a noteworthy roster that could probably get the job done against the rest of this region. Looking at now Colombia, they've got an interesting team in terms of their hitters. It looks like Giovanni Urshela. I listen. I'm a former Giovanni Urshela guy because of his time with the Yankees, but if that's your best hitter on paper, probably not going to be able to get the job done with there. Jorge Alfaro also is probably one of the best players. And shout out former Style and Fairy
Marlins
Hawk,
legend.
Julio Teheran. Still
Julio
soft.
Tehran still tearing it up, I guess. You have a
Yeah.
couple. You have a couple blasts. You have Donovan Solano here.
Yeah,
You got
it's
some
a
blasts from the past.
yeah. I would say, despite Puerto Rico's faults, that they're probably still the favorite in this
Oh, by
pool.
far. Yeah, because
I think
look
it
at
just comes
all.
down to who's the second best team, and it's probably Canada for me.
I mean, it's crazy because we say this all the time. Uh, Missing infield, not playing for Team Canada, playing for Team DR, and people say, "Oh, because he's Dominican, yada yada yada." Um, no Vlad for Canada.
Yes.
Plays. Not only was he born in Canada, plays for Blue Jays.
Hmm.
Not playing for Canada, playing for Dominican Republic. Going to honor his heritage rather than honor the soil he was born on. So that was his choice. And hey, should you put a Vladdy Jr. on this Canadian team? They'd be pretty stacked.
Yeah. So I think you and I are both in agreement that USA and Puerto Rico are going to win those two pools. So that would lead to USA playing the runner up. Who is
I
your
would
runner up?
imagine.
I have
I would
Canada.
imagine have to be. Canada, maybe Colombia. I don't know. Like it's so murky with these other teams, right? Because we know
Hmm.
Puerto Rico's going to win, but
Yeah, I think it's gonna
I
be Puerto
really think
Rico versus.
Colombia has a chance here.
They could. They could. I just think Canada on paper is a has a slight edge in my
I
opinion.
mean, for me, you have to look at pitching,
Yeah,
and you think Jose Quintana has it in him.
I don't know. He's on the Rockies this season, so
You,
it's
you think
not saying
Julio
much.
Tehran has it in him? I mean, listen, we saw him as a
Uh,
fairy hawk, and he dominated pretty much,
yeah,
which was double A and a
that's the
half
Atlantic
ball.
League. This
I
isn't Major
know,
League
I know, I
Baseball.
know.
I mean, listen. As much as
This
Jesus
might as well
Maya
be a
isn't,
glorified triple A game.
yeah,
Let's be real, though.
I think also getting another USA Canada matchup, considering what we just had in the Olympics for hockey this past week. I think getting that early in the World Baseball Classic in the
Feel
quarterfinals
like
would be
that's
fun.
bad jujuville because we beat them at their national sport.
Yeah,
Now, what if they beat us at our national sport?
I know that wouldn't look great on paper, but you have to think that's probably where it's going to lead up. It feels like the stars are aligning to that happening. So I'll go with USA Canada as my quarterfinal matchup, and the other quarterfinal matchup being uh, Puerto Rico. Give me Italy. Why not?
I like it.
Give me
I
the
like it.
Italians.
Picking Italy. All
Yeah,
right.
I'll take the Italians. I really do like the roster. They're like outside the U.S. I know it's probably biased also because I'm half Italian too, but it's just a fun roster on paper. It just looks like a fun team that I would want to root for if I wasn't rooting for the U.S. So I'll go with that as my one side of the bracket for the quarterfinals. Let's go into the other bracket, Johnson. Let's start off with Pool C. Obviously, Japan is going to be the favorite in this pool. The reigning champions from the last time this World Baseball Classic took place. I think this is another one where we look like for the USA is to which team on this side is going to be potentially the runner up that will play the winner of Pool D, and more than likely will take on either the Dominican Republic or Venezuela.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, let's just skip everything. Japan is winning this group, and I
Yeah,
think it's not going to
Japan.
be
I
close
mean,
by a large margin.
Japan has just you have Otani. That's already that's already itself.
Is he's not
Yoshida's
pitching though?
he's not pitching. He's only hitting, so
Only
keep that in
DH.
mind. But they
Yeah.
have Yamamoto, so
Yeah.
that probably. I mean, they don't really need him to pitch.
I mean, think
Um,
about all these Japanese hitters right here. You have Otani, you have Yoshida, you got Seiya
Murakami.
Suzuki. Exactly. You got all these. That 1 through 5 is going to be deadly. And
Yes.
then you have, like you mentioned, with the pitching too, they have a legit 3-man rotation here.
They have Sugano. They have Yamamoto. There's another one I'm missing, and I can't think of it at the top of my head.
Takahashi.
It might be. it's either him or Ito. There's one of those guys that are coming into the majors soon that is going to be posted, and they're going to be getting like a heavy amount of money. I don't remember out
Yeah,
of the
no,
two which one it
Japan is
was.
they are baseball proud. They have great teams. They've produced many MLB All Stars and Hall of Famers over the years, outside of the U.S. and obviously the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Definitely amongst the top baseball nations in the world. Like
Yeah.
they are probably two or three right now when it comes to this outputting raw talent.
Yeah, so I think the question is going to be, like I mentioned, then who's going to be the runner-up in this pool, and that's where I
Well,
think
there's
it
a
gets
couple teams
tricky.
here.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
because I think it's wide open here,
Hmm.
and I think the heaviest underdog is probably the Australians. Because yes, you have Australians that are coming into the MLB now, but again, their player pool isn't as large. They don't really play it over there. They play football, they play rugby, they do not play baseball. So a lot of the guys that may be like, oh, they're the guy, they're like high prospects in like AAA right now, or they're just getting into the in the main rosters. So not gonna have a lot of talent there, unfortunately. Now, when I'm talking about maybe Chinese Taipei or we're talking about South Korea here, I think I would lean towards Korea to be the runner up here.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards South Korea, and just because I'm also looking at the odds for these regions too. Um, Before going back to earlier, the USA heavy favorite, obviously in Pool A. Mexico has second best odds in that pool. Pool A that we talked about, also Puerto Rico has the best odds, but it's not by much. It's minus 130 for that, and then Canada is plus 350. They have the second best odds in Pool A. In this pool, Japan's is minus 700, so they are a heavy favorite in this
Heavy
pool.
favorites. Yeah.
South Korea does have the best, second best odds at plus 800. So
Yeah, but at
I
that
would,
point, that's a crapshoot, though.
I would tend to, I would tend to slightly agree. There's a couple names on this roster that you've heard of, but again, yeah, there's a couple guys that maybe get to the majors at some point in their careers. Maybe down the line. I agree with
You
you.
got to think about
Australia just
the natural baseball talent in these nations, though. Like
yes,
as a whole, the South Korean major leaguers that do not play in the MLB are way better than the Australians on average.
yeah.
You have to like kind of like establish stuff like that. So to me, the Australian A team is not as good as the South Korean A team. So that's the player pool that they're going
It,
against right now.
uh, is it
And then
selfish
of
of me
course,
to want to pick Chinese Taipei as my runner because Chiming Wong's on the coaching staff?
you can. You can. That's a fair one. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Czech Republic here, but the
Yeah.
Czech Republic is such a far. I can't even describe how this would be like for any football fans. This would be like the 2025 Giants
Hmm.
making a run and beating the let's say beating the 2019 Kansas City Chiefs or 2020 Kansas City Chiefs, or you know what I mean?
Well, like a big
I
upset,
mean,
you're saying?
it would be such an upset
I mean,
for this team to actually get out of here.
I mean, there's a bigger upset, but I think I know for reasons you don't want to say them, you won't
Well,
say
no, I'm
them.
just saying because here's the thing: because the '07 Giants were scrappy, but they made the playoffs on their own accord.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying that this Czech Republic team would not make the playoffs. I would say this is like
Okay. Okay.
this would be like a lowly NFL
I see.
team
I
beating
think I see
a
what you're.
dominant dynasty.
I think what. Okay. So maybe a better analogy would be the. I mean, again, this is getting off topic. It would be like, let's say,
I'll
like,
give you a good one too. Imagine if the
okay,
2019 New York Knicks beat the '96 Bulls. That's what it's kind of like here.
okay, yeah. I almost said like the winless Browns beating like I don't know, like someone like the Chiefs, like something like that. I almost
Yeah,
went to that
same
analogy,
difference.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll go with Japan as my winner, and I'll pick Chinese Taipei for Chiming Wong purposes as my runner-up. So I'll have Japan taking on the runner-up of Pool D. And honestly, I think that's probably not great to be the winner of Pool C because you have a really tough matchup. Even if you win this
They
pool,
got some great baseball nations in Pool D.
yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah, Pool D is it's just really loaded because of Venezuela. It's just really low because of Venezuela and Dominican Republic. I mean, those
Yeah, but those
rosters
are
are insane.
that's going to be a coin flip in my opinion. And
So
listen, DR
I just
has the advantage, but it's a coin flip between these
yeah,
two.
looking at the odds right now for this, the DR is a minus 155 favorite, but Venezuela's plus 150. They're not too far behind. It's really going to come down close. I think the best way for us to look at it, let's just break down the other teams first before we get into those two, and then decide who's going to win that region. Um, Israel. I mean, they have some players on the roster. Harrison
Yeah, I
Bader
mean, there's
probably
there's a
their best
lot of
player.
there's a lot of Jewish MLB players still, like
Tommy
kind of like the
Tommy
Italians. It
Kahnle.
wasn't
Look
just a
at Tommy
20s,
Tight Pants.
30s, 40s thing. There's still a lot of Jewish
Look
players in
at
the MLB, and you'd be surprised when you take a look at this
oh,
roster.
Brad Ausmus, Yankee coach legend. They have some interesting names as on their coaching staff. Staten Island legend Jason Marquis on this.
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
wow, look at that. Now, unfortunately, Kevin Euclid is on this coaching staff, so they're already
You
they've
didn't
already
say
lost a
Tommy
big
Tight
spot.
Pants though.
I did say Tommy Tight Pants.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, shout out Tommy Tight Pants. I miss him as a Yankee. I would like to bring him back one more time. And say with Harrison Bader, who just signed a contract with the Giants, I believe.
But yeah, again, they have legit MLB players on this team, right? For example,
Yes.
if Team Israel was in Pool C, I might pick them as my runner up.
Yeah. No. 100%.
Like it's
Hundred
just that
percent.
it's
I did
unfortunate
the same thing for
seeding.
the Netherlands, so that you can make the same case.
Yeah,
Because the net. I mean, look at the net. Let's look
the
at. I
Netherlands have
really
some
like the
legit
Netherlands
players on this
roster too.
roster. No, they have legit players. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that you're in a super group. You're in the group
Right,
of
because
death.
they have Drew Jones, who was a former top prospect, Andrew Jones' son. Jerickson Profar, outside of him getting suspended, is a solid player. Donnie Raphael from the Boston Red Sox. They have. I also forgot Andrew Jones is the manager of the team, so that's kind of a nice father
Yeah,
son
and you got to
dynamic
talk
there
about
as
their
well.
infield too. Ozzy Albies,
Yeah,
Xander Bogarts,
Albies, Xander
Didi.
Bogarts. I miss Didi every single day. I'm very happy he's on this team. That should be that's a very strong infield though. Too for
A
this
lot of these
Netherlands team.
people sleep on the Netherlands as a baseball country because they forget about Curacao, and they forget about Aruba. Both former or maybe still be Dutch colonies. I'd have to check that. I'm not. My apologies. I'm not really up to date on that. I'm not
Mm.
about the political standings or the legal status of those places, but I know they were Dutch associated at one point in their life. So that's
It,
why we have a lot of teams, a lot of these guys playing for Team Netherlands.
right. If Netherlands was in Pool C, they are 1,000% my runner-up. They have the third best roster in my opinion in this region.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah, and then Nicaragua has some good players on this team too. Mark Vientos is probably the best player on this roster, but unfortunately, there's really not much in terms of the pitching department for them. They're probably the odds-on second or worst team maybe in this region, but we'll see how they play and come in terms of round robin play. And then Johnson, let's get down to the good stuff. The two teams that are the favorites in this region, the DR and Venezuela. I guess we
Loaded
start off with
rosters.
I guess we started with Venezuela first because they are the second best, second in terms of odds in this region.
Sure.
Lineup looks incredible. You look at the infield. First off, you have great catchers in William Contreras and Salvador Perez. Your infield, you have Luis Arias, Wilson Contreras, Michael Garcia, Andres Jimenez, Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres, and Ezequiel Tovar. Your outfield is William Abreu, Jackson Churio, and Ronald Acuna. And then you look at the
Oh,
rotation
hold
and your
on. You didn't mention
what I
Javier
miss?
Sanoja, who had
No,
a
sorry.
dominant year in the minor leagues. He had a
Javier
dominant year
Sanoja,
in the
we got to
minor
flip
leagues,
him
and
up.
when they brought him up as a Marlin this year, oh, this is only because I'm invested in him. When he brought him up to the Marlins,
As I say,
he
you're
was
the
a
Memphis
positive
Marlins.
player this year. He was okay. He had like a .7 OPS. He got on base. He really didn't strike out much.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that, even though he doesn't have a lot of power right now, he could be a mismatch for a lot of these teams here. So look for him to maybe have a breakout season. He's not that
Now,
big. He's like 5'7", but
yes,
you got a chance here to get some real reps in.
I think the issue I have with Venezuela comparing them to the DR is the pitching. I think the DR's pitching is just slightly better than this Venezuela rotation.
I would agree.
You have Ranger Suarez, who's probably the ace of this staff. You have Eduardo Rodriguez, Antonio Senzatella, they're not big. Like they're former guys. They're guys that have done stuff in the past, but they're not big names in terms of shut down
I mean,
stuff.
Suarez is a Cy Young candidate though, so that's to have him as your ace. I know he's not
Well,
as good as some of the other guys, but
if you're the Red Sox, you're not liking what he did in his first spring training start. But that's besides the point. It's only spring training. I don't
yep.
want. I don't want to. I don't want to. Harp on that. Yeah, I don't know who the closer is for this team either. I think that's the other issue I'm having. Is it Jose Budo, former Met?
I would say so.
I don't know if it's him. It might be him. I think the issue where I'm leaning towards DR. I mean, look at their rotation. Look at their pitching staff they have on this team. They have Sandy Alcantara, the former Cy Young Award winner, Brian Bello, who's been an emerging star for the Boston Red Sox. You have Camilo Duvall, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Huascar Brazabin, Carlos Estevez in your bullpen, as well as Wandy Peralta. You have Luis Severino and Christopher Sanchez in your rotation.
I feel like I'm looking at the former Miami Marlins right now.
It basically is. I mean, it
Yeah.
basically is with this team. Your catchers, you have Augustine Ramirez and Austin Wells on this roster. And you talked about him before. Vladimir Guerrero, now Team Canada. He is on this DR team. An incredible infield that they have. Vladimir Guerrero, Junior Caminero, Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo, Jeremy Pena, Ahmed Rosario, Carlos Santana.
Manny Machado not playing for the U.S. is also kind of crazy to me.
Really, really stings because
that to me is crazy.
But keep in mind,
this guy's an American baseball fan, right? He grew up rooting for the Marlins, and this is when the Marlins were good too. He watched him as a
yeah.
Continue.
I know he's never played for the Team USA.
I know he has, but
yeah,
I think the last time he played for Team USA was like in the early 2010s, I think. Before he was he played for the under 18 team.
Yeah,
but he's never played for USA internationally.
He was involved in one of the best moments I can remember from this World Baseball Classic when he was robbed of a home run by Adam Jones at Petco Park. I forgot the year that was. I want to say it was 2016. I could be wrong on the year, but it's one of the all-time World Baseball Classic moments. It was an incredible catch for Adam Jones in that game. One of the better games we've had in World Baseball Classic history. But yeah, it's an incredible lineup. I'm not sure how Albert Pujols, who's the manager for this team, is going to go about starting this infield because you're going to have some guys like that are, Jeremy Pena is probably going to be.
I think,
and he's a former World Series MVP.
I think you have to have Vlad and Machado at your first and third base. Those are the locks.
I think what's going to happen is Vlad's going to play first. Ketel's at second. Do they dare maybe put Manny Machado back at shortstop like he used to?
No, if they're going to put him third, you'd put Perdomo at shortstop.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you want to take Junior Caminero's bat out of the lineup? That's the problem.
You know what? I'm not really sure. I'm not. That's a question. It's gonna be matchup based.
Last season, he could play DH because I don't know what they're gonna do with the outfield. That's another part about this team that's really stacked too. Their outfield is arguably with the USA the best outfield that they have in the entire thing. O'Neal Cruz, Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis. This is a plethora of emerging stars, current stars, former MVPs. Like it's an insane outfield that they have. Like this is going to be an incredible region, and I'm going to probably lean towards DR just to win the region because of the pitching. But Venezuela is probably going to be the team that comes out of it as the runner-up, and we'll play Japan in that quarterfinal, and then you'll have the DR take on a team like Chinese Taipei or Korea or someone in their quarterfinal. But yeah, this should be an incredible matchups going into it. I think the next thing we do, Johnson, is after that, let's look into who we think will win these quarterfinal matchups, get to the championship game, or the semifinals, then the championship game. Who do you have making it to the championship?
So in my championship game, I'm going to go with the United States out of Pool A and B because I think overall they're the best team. But I'm going with the slight dark horse here. I'm not going with Japan out of Pool C and D. I'm going with the Dominican Republic.
I'm with you on that too.
Wow. Okay. I was expecting you to pick Japan and get the rematch.
I as much as I think Japan could do it, I just think the DR. I mean, the amount of players we just listed for the DR. I mean, it'd be insane if they didn't get to the final. Like, it's just too good of a roster on paper not to get there. It'd be catastrophic, in my opinion, if they didn't get to the championship game. Just so
Yeah,
it's
I
tough.
mean, listen, even Team Japan is excellent too, but there's so
I
many
know,
MLB superstars
I know. I
on
think the slight
this
edge is
DR
also keep in
team.
mind, and I'm glad you brought this up earlier. With Otani not pitching, yes, there's some good pitching on Japan, but he was a big reason why Japan won a couple years ago. Remember, he had that infamous strikeout on
Against
Mike
Mike
Trout to
Trout.
end it.
Yeah,
So, by the way, it's a shame that he is not on this roster. I wanted him to replace Corbin
Captain
Carroll.
America.
He should have replaced Corbin Carroll when he got hurt.
I think it's been absolutely a tragedy, how people are
Egregious that he did
treating
not
him.
make it. I understand he's been injured and he's not the same Mike Trout we used to see.
It's
He
his
or even
presence
Trey
in the
Turner.
locker
Trey
room.
Turner was incredible the last World Baseball Classic
Yeah,
too.
you keep guys for locker room vibes.
Yes.
Mike Trout would dominate this other competition, and he would be a great locker room presence for these guys on Team USA. He's
Anyway,
a probably the greatest modern baseball player up until we saw Otani.
yeah,
He was definitely the best baseball player from 2011 to
yeah,
like 2020, by far, hands down.
yeah. Because once Otani started getting into his own, it was a wrap.
Yeah, but to have a decade of dominance and not have any recognition for it is a shame.
So we're just gonna save everyone's time by just being biased and making our picks for the championship.
Team USA to win it all, Nick.
Yeah,
They're gonna. It's revenge tour. They're serious this time. They
it'd
got
be
legit
unpatriotic
pitching.
if we didn't pick them.
But
It just
listen, when it comes to the World Cup, I'm probably not going to pick you, Team USA. But that's just being a
No,
realist.
no. As much as it'd be fun, I think they are a very heavy underdog, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
like you're
Like
talking
plus 2,000 odds, I think it was.
more than that.
Was it more than that?
Yeah, it's bad.
Really? I want to take a look at that before we wrap up tonight. I think. Look, let's see. Oh, plus 5,000. Wow, you weren't kidding. I thought it was like plus 2,500.
No, I mean, listen, a lot of people put heavy money on the US when they first came out of groups because, listen, they got a favorable group. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. But
they
you're
did.
going to have to play Norway at one point. You're going to have to play
Yeah.
Germany and Portugal. And I'm not even talking about the top dogs like Spain, England, and France. You got those mid tier teams. You're going to have to play in the round of 16. So
Yeah,
to go
Spain
on
is
a run like
insane.
that, it's going to be crazy.
Incredible year though to have all this international flair though.
It
The
is.
Olympics, this World Baseball Classic, the World Cup in the summer. I really like to see it because we saw how. I mean, obviously for us, it was great to see what the USA did. It felt like a different vibe. It felt like everyone connected in a way, and was no offense to any Canadian fans we have that listen, but to watch all of everyone collectively just like talk a lot of smack to Canada, it felt like it was like something that the like we all needed in a way. Um, it was just a great atmosphere to watch that game. Both games, honestly. Winning the way the USA won both of them, and hockey wise, overtime goal like can't beat that. So to go from that to now go to this World Baseball Classic that kicks off next week, I'm really looking forward to it because the last one brought out a lot of great moments. The Murakami walk off for Japan. Trey Turner hit that grand slam in the eighth inning. The ninth inning with Japan and USA with Trout and Otani. Trout and Otani. Yeah, like so many great moments from that last World Baseball Classic. I think this one, in my opinion, will top the last one in terms of moments that we'll be talking about. So it should be a fun one, Johnson. You and I will be definitely taking part in watching that World Baseball Classic. And then for us, yes, football season is already over. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, but you and I stay busy here on the show because we have a lot of stuff to cover in the next couple weeks.
We're
Uh,
talking Big East basketball,
yep.
NCAA, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, all mid majors, college basketball for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, college basketball is coming up because March Madness is right around the corner. You mentioned we'll be talking about the conference tournaments and who we have for those tournaments. We'll then break down the teams trying to get into the NCAA tournament and then break down the actual field of 68 when that bracket comes out on Selection Sunday. And for you baseball fans, not too far around the corner, we will be back for baseball talk because the MLB season is just around the corner as well. I'm looking to see real quick when that opening day is. I think it's March 25th. It is. March 25th is opening day, so for you and I, Johnson, we'll have to get an episode in to break down and preview the MLB season upcoming. That'll be fun to look forward to. Of course, the Dodgers going for a three-peat this season hasn't been done in a long time since I believe the Yankees in the early 90s, late 2000, or I should say late
Hasn't
90s,
happened in
early
a while.
2000s. It hasn't happened in a while. And then after that, I think we have just, breaking down the NCAA tournament as each round goes about. And then for the football fans, we'll have the NFL draft coming too in mid-April or late April. Like I said, my dates are all off at this point, but that's what we have in store for the next couple of weeks here on the show. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably my favorite time of the season. I know football is, great to talk about each and every week, but to have March Madness, baseball, back to football with the draft, and then not too far around from that is the NBA playoffs. This is probably my most favorite time in the entire year. I'm sure you feel the same
Me
way.
too, Nick. Me
I
too.
know how much you're looking forward to March Madness.
This is March.
This is definitely March. We're
Almost.
almost there. A couple days away. It is February 26th as of this recording. But that pretty much does it for me, Johnson. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Excited for baseball, and Nick, just take us home.
Go Team USA. That's all I'm going to say about that going into this World Baseball Classic. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of the All Gas No Break Sports Show. The World Baseball Classic is on the horizon. Can Team Japan get the job done again, or will teams like the US, the DR, Venezuela, other teams maybe outside of the heavy favorites, will they have an opportunity to upset Japan's chances of going back to back? And then, as Johnson and I mentioned, not too far around the corner, we'll be talking about college basketball next week here on the show, breaking down the big conference tournaments in the NCAA. And then not too far away from that, we will have a tournament bracket, the Field of 68. Johnson and I will be breaking down those regional brackets and making our picks to get to the Final Four and to the national championship game. For Nicholas Pavona and Andrew Johnson, this has been the All Gas No Break Sports Show. Have a great rest of your week.